Welcome to the news in Africa and the world. A follow-up in Ivory Coast presidential race in today's edition tells us that some supporters of former Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo have mobilized to challenge the decision of the Electoral Commission to rip off the candidacy of Diatou Djounouane in the new electoral list, a decision that could prevent Gbagbo from standing as candidate in upcoming October presidential elections. The pro-Gbagbo delegation, who want the return of the latter in a letter, asked reasons which led to the withdrawal of his name from the electoral list and questioning the independence of the commission. In response, the CEI said he loses the right to vote from the robbery affair dubbed the BCAO and sentenced to 20 years in prison in his country. Nonetheless, the president of the Electoral Commission, Ibrahim Koulibaly Kouibé, personally received the delegation and assured them nothing was lost, that the party had to file an appeal with the local branch of the CEI where Gbagbo must be attached to. The litigation is set to open from August 5th to the 7th. In Somalia, 2 security officers were killed after preventing a suicide bomber from entering a busy restaurant in the capital, Mogadishu. The suicide bomber discharged the device after being confronted by the guards. Several clients were injured in the explosion, police reports said. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack, but the militant Islamist group Al-Shabaab frequently carries out bomb attacks on civilian and military targets. Officials have said 3 key Nile Basin countries have resumed their negotiations to resolve a years-long dispute over the operation and filling of a giant hydroelectric dam that Ethiopia is filling on the Blue Nile. The talks came on Monday, a day after Ethiopians took to the streets of their capital, Addis Ababa, in a government-backed rally to celebrate the first stage of filling the Grand Renaissance Dam's 74 billion cubic meters reservoir. That sparked fear and confusion downstream in Khartoum and Cairo. Irrigation ministers of Sudan, Egypt and Ethiopia took part in Monday talks, which were held online amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Other officials from the African Union and South Africa also took part. While Abiy Ahmed attributed the filling to be natural from the torrential rain, Egypt's irrigation minister said the filling, without consultations and coordination, sent a negative indications that shows Ethiopia's unwillingness to reach a fair deal. The 3 ministers will meet again online on Thursday. Story to be continued. Coronavirus in Algeria. Authorities have decided to gradually reopen mosques, beaches and parks which had been closed for nearly 5 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The information was made known from a press release from the presidency during a meeting of the High Security Council devoted to the assessment of the health situation in the country. The reopening is, however, subject to conditions. It will be limited in a first phase to only large mosques of at least 1,000 places and able to allow the necessary physical distancing and the wearing of the compulsory mask. The government extended the partial home confinement until August 11 in 29 of the 48 prefectures of the country. These measures may, however, be called into question in the event of a worsening surge in the health crisis. Out of Africa, Italy inaugurated a sleek new bridge in Genoa on Monday, though relatives of the 43 people killed when it collapsed said the pomp and ceremony risked overshadowing the tragedy. Jet trailing the colors of the Italian flag roared overhead as a rainbow appeared in the sky. Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte cut the ribbon on the new bridge designed by famed Italian architect Renzo Piano, who gave it a curved, gleaming underbelly, evoking the heel of a ship in tribute to Genoa's maritime history. President Sergio Mattarella attended the inauguration in a somber ceremony out of respect for the will of the families of the victims. He was the first to officially cross the new bridge. He said the new structure does not cancel out what happened in the northern Italian city, but on the contrary, I see it in good part as a kind of memorial stone that recalls the victim. The bridge gave way on August 14, 2018 during heavy rains, hurling dozens of cars and several trucks into railway tracks below. Wearing a mask in certain outdoor public spaces has been made mandatory in some French towns and cities. That took effect on Monday as the latest move to tighten coronavirus restrictions. The new measures have been introduced in places many people are likely to gather, like parks, markets and city centers, and areas where the virus has surged. In Nice, for instance, the mayor has declared that everyone is required to wear a mask in many areas of the southern French city, including the tourist boulevard, the Promenade des Anglais. France has been seeing a rise in coronavirus infections and hundreds of new clusters in recent weeks, notably as young people gather at cafes or parties and families meet up for summer vacation. And the former monarch of Spain, King Juan Carlos I, says he is leaving the country after corruption allegations about him surfaced in recent weeks. Newspapers report claim Carlos received millions of euros from Saudi Arabia's late King Abdullah, some of which he then allegedly transferred to a bank account under his former mistress's name. Through his lawyer, the 82-year-old has declined to comment on the allegations. He said he wanted to ensure he does not make his son's role difficult, adding that his legacy and dignity demanded it should be so. It is unclear when he will leave Spain or where he will go. King Felipe thanked Juan Carlos for his decision, underlining the historic importance that his father's reign represents for democracy in Spain. That said, thank you very much for watching the news. Do take care and stay safe in the company of programs on TBS Television.